Welcome to Module 1 of the Six Sigma Institute's Lean Six Sigma Certification Curriculum, which follows both the Council for Six Sigma Certification and International Association for Six Sigma Certification Bodies of Knowledge. A full copy of the Council for Six Sigma Certification's Book of Knowledge can be downloaded from the course description section for free. In this module, we will be asking the question, what is Six Sigma? This module will take approximately 60 minutes to complete. At the end of this module, there will be a 5-question quiz on the topics discussed, which you can complete on your own time. You will also find several Six Sigma tools that you can download, including a Sigma level calculator and a value stream map template, both of which are Excel files. In applying Six Sigma, organizations, teams, and project managers seek to implement strategies that are based on measurements and metrics rather than intuition or hunches. We refer to this as data-driven processes and decisions. In this section, we will be discussing the differences between decisions that are made using Six Sigma and decisions that are made without it. We will also briefly discuss beta testing and why it is important to always test a decision on a limited basis before integrating it into our organization's standard operating procedures, or SOPs. Historically, many business leaders made their decisions based solely on intuition or experience. But Six Sigma doesn't remove that need for experienced leadership, and it does not negate the importance of intuition in the process either. Experience might say that a process isn't working, and with statistics we can prove that to be true. Intuition might guide a project manager to believe a certain change could improve output, and our Six Sigma tools help organizations validate those assumptions. Without proper measurement and analysis, decision-making processes in an organization usually start with someone with clout in the organization having a good idea or taking interest in someone else's idea. Using their own past experiences, they determine that the idea will be successful or has a high likelihood of success. So the idea gets implemented. Sometimes an organization will implement that idea in beta mode so that the expenses and risks are minimized. The determination of whether the idea will be successful is made after it is actually implemented. As a result, any problems with the idea can only be addressed after they impact the product or process. The fact is that organizations who do not rely on the data make improvements without first understanding the true gain or loss associated with the change. Some improvements may appear to work on the surface without actually impacting customer satisfaction or profit in a positive way. The Six Sigma method lets organizations identify problems, validate assumptions, brainstorm solutions, and plan for implementation in order to avoid unintended consequences. By applying common tools such as statistical analysis and process mapping, teams can visualize and predict outcomes to problems and solutions with a high level of accuracy. This lets leadership make decisions with less financial risk. Our methods are not a crystal ball for organizations, and they should not be expected to fix every single problem. Even with expert use of the tools that we will discuss in this program, problems can still arise for teams as they implement and maintain solutions. That is why Six Sigma also provides for control methods. It is always important to remember that once a team implements changes, they can control processes for a fraction of the cost of traditional quality methods, simply by continuing to use the various Six Sigma tools and statistics that we provide them. Beta testing is generally defined as a type of user acceptance testing, where the team gives a nearly finished product to a group of targeted users in order to evaluate the product performance in the real world. In Six Sigma, it is more common to pilot test a solution rather than beta test product or process improved by that solution. Beta testing is still used in Six Sigma approach though, but only after idea or change in question goes through a rigorous analysis and data testing. The advantage of launching ideas into beta or to an entire population without going through a Six Sigma methodology is that organizations can experience unintended consequences from those changes. Companies can spend money on ideas that don't end up working as planned, and they can adversely impact the customer experience throughout that trial and error period. As a general rule of thumb, we pilot test a solution to a problem first, and then after we have the data to support it, we can then beta test the process or product to a select group of targeted users. Six Sigma is a set of techniques and tools for process improvement and is a statistical representation of what can be considered a perfect process. In this section, we will be defining what Six Sigma is and discussing real-world examples of its implementation and impact on our daily lives. The differences between operating at a 5 sigma level and a 6 sigma level are larger than you may imagine. Technically speaking, in a Six Sigma process, there are only 3.4 defects per million opportunities. In percentages, that means 99.99966% of the products from a Six Sigma process are without defects. At a 5 sigma level, we are talking about only a 99.97% accuracy, where processes experiences 233 errors per million opportunities. That means that you are 68 times more likely to discover a defect in a process or product that is running at only a 5 sigma level. Now let's take a moment to discuss some real-world examples of Six Sigma processes. The data for these examples come from publicly available information obtained from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, and the Centers for Disease Control, or CDC. Remember, you are 68 times more likely to discover a defect in a process or product that is running at only 5 sigma. But what if those defects occurred during your next surgery? What if they occurred while you were on your next flight across the country? By continuously improving processes and pushing it closer to that statistically perfect level, we can drastically reduce the chances of becoming the victim of medical malpractice or having to sit on a plane at the terminal for an hour while the ground crews attempt a last minute repair to a sensor or relay on your plane. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, air traffic controllers in the United States handle 28,537 commercial flights every single day. In a year, that is approximately 10.416 million flights. If our air traffic control process operated at only a 5 sigma level, then we could expect roughly 2,426 flight errors annually. Luckily, we live in a world where it is safer to fly than to drive, because when operating at a 6 sigma level, that risk drops to only 35.41 errors per year. Would you feel safer knowing that air traffic control process operates at a 6 sigma level? Or are you okay with it operating at only a 5 sigma level? The Centers for Disease Control reports that approximately 51.4 million surgeries are performed in the United States in any given year. Based on a 99.97% accuracy rate, doctors would make errors in 11,976 surgeries every single year. That would equate to doctors making errors in 230 surgeries every single week. At a Six Sigma level, that drops to approximately 174 errors per year for the entire country, or just over 3 errors for each week. We cannot overemphasize the fact that at a 5 sigma level, patients are 68 times more likely to experience an error at the hands of their medical providers. And sure, we should expect 99.99966% accuracy rate in critical services. But we should also expect it in non-critical services and products too. Because for an organization, it is not just about the error rate, but rather it is also about the costs that are associated with each error. Amazon is a Lean Six Sigma champion and has integrated a number of tools into its own standard operating procedures, both in the warehouse and in its customer service department. Amazon openly uses the Anden cord to deal with repetitious issues with the same products and or suppliers, and its managers are obligated to take regular Gemba walks through the warehouse and operating floor. So it is not surprising that we have chosen to showcase Amazon as an example of what Six Sigma can accomplish. Consider, if you will, the Amazon shipments from Cyber Monday of 2013. Known as the start of Prime Week, the company processed 36.8 million orders in a single day. Let us assume that each order error cost the company an average of $35. Keep in mind that this is a conservative number as some errors can cost the company hundreds of dollars. If Amazon only operated at a 5 Sigma level, then those errors could have cost them as much as $300,000. But at a 6 Sigma level, the cost would be just under $4,400. So let us take a closer look at the difference Six Sigma level can make. Most companies still operate at only a 3 Sigma level. If Amazon was that ineffective, they probably would have gone bankrupt years ago. At 3 Sigma, that would have resulted in nearly 2.5 million errors, and it would have cost the company over $86 million. At a 4 Sigma level, there would have been a tenth of the number of errors, but it still would have cost the company nearly $8 million. At a 5 Sigma level, those errors would have dropped to just under 8,600, and it would have cost the company only $300,000. But at a 6 Sigma level, we are only looking at roughly 125 errors out of 36.8 million orders and at a cost of only $4,379. When compared to a 6 Sigma level, a 5 Sigma process will generate 68 times the number of errors or defects. A 4 Sigma process will result in 1,823 times the number of defects, and a 3 Sigma process will have 19,647 times the number of defects compared to a 6 Sigma level. Organizations and teams can calculate the Sigma level of a product or process by dividing the number of opportunities minus the number of defects with the number of opportunities, and then multiplying that by 100. This will provide you with the error-free yield percentage. Consider a process in a marketing department that distributes letters to customers. Imagine, if you will, that the process inserts 30,000 letters in pre-addressed envelopes each day, or about 150,000 letters per week. Let us say that the marketing department begins receiving complaints that people are receiving letters in envelopes that are addressed to them, but the letters inside are addressed to someone else. The marketing department randomly selects 1,000 letters from next week's batch and finds that 5 of them have errors. Applying that to the total amount, they estimate that as many as 750 letters could have errors. That process has 150,000 opportunities for errors each week and an estimated 750 defects, which results in an error-free yield of 99.5%, which means that the process is operating at a 4 Sigma level. But it is important to remember that Sigma level is not a final indicator that a process is out of control. Sigma levels provide organizations with a high-level look at how a process is performing. But comparing Sigma levels between multiple processes doesn't always point to the particular process an organization should improve first. Leadership should also consider costs, resources, and the estimated impact of improvements. When comparing several different processes, you may find that some processes are operating at a much lower sigma level than others, but that does not mean that they should be prioritized before processes with higher sigma levels. You also have to take into consideration which process has the greatest impact on customer satisfaction and, of course, the company's bottom line. Later on in this training, we will discuss the project prioritization and selection process in greater detail. The core principles of Six Sigma are to always focus on the customer, measure accurately, and analyze the process thoroughly, while proactively eliminating variations in the process. Organizations can impact their Sigma level by integrating core principles from Six Sigma methodology into their leadership styles, process management, and improvement endeavors. In this section, we will cover the common Six Sigma principles. We will discuss the customer focus of the methodology and define the value streams of a process. We will look closer at the concept of continuous improvement through the removal of waste and the reduction of variation. We will also cover process control and equipping employees to properly manage and operate the processes they are assigned to. A primary principle of the methodology is a focus on the voice of the customer, or the VOC. By combining that knowledge with measurements, statistics, and process improvement methods, organizations can increase customer satisfaction and even bolster its profits, customer retention, and of course loyalty. A detailed understanding of the customer and customer desires not only lets businesses customize product offerings and services, but it also allows organizations to offer additional features customers want and are willing to pay for. It allows them to prioritize product development to meet current needs as well as develop new ideas based on customer feedback. It provides understanding around the changing trends in the market and helps to identify areas of concern. The voice of the customer also allows organizations to prioritize work based on how customers perceive various problems or issues, as well as test solutions and ideas before investing time and money into them. The value stream is the sequence of all items, events, and people required to produce an end result. If you combine all of these into a pictorial representation of the process, then you will have a value stream map. The purpose for determining a value stream for a process is that you can identify areas of concern, waste, and improvement. A good map will help you answer questions like, are there any bottlenecks in the process? Or, how many different suppliers are used for the process? And, how many are actually needed? A value stream map is generally one of the first tasks you will conduct in the define phase. And after you have implemented any changes, you will most likely create a new value stream map showing the improved process. Inherent in the Six Sigma method is the concept of continuous process improvement. This same concept is also an integral part of Lean. An organization that completely adopts a Lean Six Sigma methodology never stops improving. It identifies and prioritizes areas of opportunity on a continuous basis. Once one area is improved upon, the organization moves on to improving another area. If a process is improved from 4 sigma to 4.4 sigma, the organization considers ways to move that sigma level up even further. The goal is to move even closer to that perfect level of 99.99966% accuracy for all processes within an organization, while at the same time maintaining other goals and requirements of the organization, such as financial stability. One of the ways to continuously improve a process is to reduce the variation in the process. Every process contains an inherent variation. In a call center, for example, there is variation between each phone call and within each phone call, even if those calls are scripted. Inflection, accents, environmental concerns, and caller moods are just some of the things that lead to variation in this circumstance. By providing employees with a script or suggested comments for common scenarios, a call center can reduce variation to some degree. Another example could be in a pizzeria. Employees may be instructed to use certain amounts of ingredients for each pizza. The pizzeria owner notes a great deal of variation in how much cheese is on each pizza and fears it will lead to inconsistent customer experiences. To reduce this variation, he provides employees with two measuring cups, one for the small pizzas and one for the large pizzas. To reduce variation even further, he then instructs the employees to fill the cups to the rim but not create a mound on top of the rim. Anything that does not increase value in the eye of the customer must be considered waste or muda, and every effort should be made to eliminate that waste from a process. There are 7 traditional forms of waste, according to Taiichi Ono, but today we recognize 8 of them through the acronym downtime. This stands for defects, overproduction, waiting, non-utilized talent, transportation, inventory excess, motion waste, and of course, excess processing. Defects require additional time, resources, and money to fix. Overproduction results in products no one has ordered yet. Waiting is a waste of labor and wages as employees have nothing to do. Non-utilized talent is assigning the wrong person to do the job. Transportation requires moving product from one place to another. Inventory excess requires warehousing space. Motion is the result of poorly designed workstation layout. And excess processing is adding extra features that customers are not willing to pay for. Implementing improved processes is a temporary measure unless organizations equip the employees who work directly with the processes with the tools and training needed in order to monitor and maintain those improvements. In most organizations, process improvement is a two-pronged approach. First is a process improvement team comprised of project management, methodology experts, and subject matter experts who define, plan, and implement an improvement to a process. That team then trains and equips the employees who work directly with the process daily with the tools and procedures necessary to control and manage the process in its improved state. Without this control, a newly improved process can quickly fall into disrepair, and employees will revert back to the old habits that may have played a critical role in causing that process to become uncontrollable in the first place. Often, Six Sigma improvements address processes that are out of control. To be considered out of control, a process must meet specific statistical requirements. The goal of any improvement project is therefore to bring an out of control process back into a state of statistical control. Only after improvements are implemented can we use measurements, statistics, and other Six Sigma tools to ensure that the process remains in control. It is a crucial part to any continuous improvement method that we ensure that controls are put in place and that the employees who manage and operate the process on a regular basis know how to use these controls. Six Sigma is not without its own challenges. As an expansive method that requires commitment to continuous improvement, Six Sigma is often viewed as an expensive or unnecessary process, especially for small or mid-sized organizations. In this section, we will go into greater detail regarding the obstacles and challenges that often stand in the way of positive results being obtained from a Six Sigma project. The common challenges include a lack of support or resources to undertake a project, the knowledge about Six Sigma and its toolkit needed to execute the project successfully, the lack of or access to consistent and valid statistical data regarding the process or products, and various yet unfounded concerns about using the methodology in new industries. Some of these challenges or obstacles are easier to deal with than others, and in smaller businesses, some challenges are almost impossible. Six Sigma requires support and buy in at all levels of an organization. Leaders and executives must be willing to back initiatives with resources, financial and, of course, labor related. Subject matter experts must be open to sharing information about their processes with the project team. And employees at all levels must embrace the idea of change, improvement, and of course must be willing to participate in the training. There are many barriers to the support that Six Sigma needs. Leaders that are unfamiliar with or don't understand the Six Sigma process may not be willing to buy into a project. Some leaders are willing to pursue improvements initially, but then lose interest in overseeing the project before they are completed. Some of the staff is fearful of change, especially in an environment when change has historically caused negative consequences for employees. Employees may be resistant to change because they believe improvements might make them obsolete, and department heads or employees who constantly champion their own processes and needs are unwilling to enter into the big picture thinking. A lack of resources can be a challenge to any Six Sigma initiative, but they don't have to be a complete barrier. The lack of knowledge about how to use and implement Six Sigma is one of the first issues that most small and mid sized companies face. The smaller businesses can't always afford to hire dedicated resources to handle continuous process improvement. Even if they had the necessary resources, they may lack the knowledge taught through Six Sigma training. In recent years, the cost of providing Six Sigma training has been falling, and it is now possible for organizations to use some of the tools without an expert or to send in house staff to be certified in Six Sigma through another provider. But you must be careful when choosing the training because many online certifications are self paced and designed to be impossible to fail. Many fly by night training organizations are basically selling their certifications but providing very little training in the process. Companies implementing Six Sigma for the first time, especially in a project environment, often turn away from the entire methodology if the first project or improvement falls flat. Proponents of Six Sigma within any organization really have to hit it out of the ballpark with the very first project if leadership and others are on the fence about the methodology. Teams can help avoid poor project performance by taking extreme care to execute every phase of the project correctly. By choosing low risk, high reward improvements, teams can also stack the deck in their favor with their first project. The only disadvantage with such a tactic is that it can be really hard to duplicate the wow factor with subsequent improvements, making it important to remember that long-term implementation and commitment is vital to ensuring the success of Six Sigma. Data and analytics issues are a common challenge for organizations of all sizes. Gaining access to consistent and accurate data streams and applying statistical analysis to that data in an appropriate manner can be quite difficult. It can be challenging to discover that an important process metric is not even being captured, or that there is a manual data capturing in many processes. When there is automated data capturing, that process captures enormous amounts of data and can sometimes create scope challenges. In many instances, data is found to be skewed due to assumptions, human interaction in the process, or incorrect capture. Sometimes there are lengthy times between raw data capture and access, and this is made even worse when industry or company compliance rules make it difficult to gain access to that data. Both Lean and Six Sigma originated in the manufacturing industry. As a result, many of the concepts and tools used in the methodology are still taught in the context of a factory or industrial environment. As a result, many organizations who work in other industries, such as hospitality, service, or even in the government, often discount the methods because they believe it will be too difficult to implement in their industry. In reality, Six Sigma can be customized to any industry and has been used in every single industry. Call centers that handle Amazon's customer service have integrated Six Sigma into their corporate culture. But care must be taken because Six Sigma cannot fix every issue. Problems resulting from low morale, for example, can never be fixed using a Six Sigma project.